Hello everybody, this is Alex from Hardcoring Guides, bringing you my Splatterhouse Brutal Difficulty No Upgrade run, and today we are doing Phase 11, entitled Blood Eclipse. Hang on one second, I'm just doing a few things real fast. I forgot to do something earlier for the editing, but you guys won't have to worry about that because I'm just going to go back and edit it when I get the chance. Let's make sure my audio is going because I have to check that like pretty much every damn time now, just be on the safe side. Alright, cool. So, Blood Eclipse is going to be the last of the somewhat... It's still short, but it's definitely going to be the last of like the more longer side of things. At least it definitely feels longer. I mean, granted, when you edit everything out, when you edit all the deaths and you edit all the cutscenes and stuff, then it really does kind of trim it down quite a bit. But still, we're going through the path of most of these recent chapters being kind of short-ish, and then eventually, this one kind of comes in, makes it a bit longer, and then after that, it will just be the final boss, and that one won't be that long at all. So this is the worm fight that I was talking about, I think, back in like Chapter 5, that I think we originally saw the worm thing, and I think I might have mentioned either during Scream Park or Chapter 5, I forget which one it was. And I mentioned this fight particularly because this one doesn't really have like a lot of room to kind of, get around and be able to attack enemies and such. Also, when I did that splatter smash, I was kind of hoping that it would kill both of these guys, but it ended up actually killing one of them and actually putting the other one into a splatter kill, which allowed me to actually get some of my necro back. But yeah, that whip, that tail, or that tongue whip thing right there, that's the thing that's going to be the most annoying. And that's what makes this entire arena kind of suck in general, is because you pretty much, at that point, you can't just run away from it. You have to actually actively engage with that attack, and you have to jump over it. So, granted, if you're playing with upgrades on, then Invincible would make your life a lot easier, and that kind of just defeats the purpose of Brutal Mode, in my opinion. I mean, Brutal Mode is still pretty challenging, but it's not anywhere near as hard as, say, like, God of War or any of those. But if you're looking for like a game that's kind of like relatively challenging-ish, on top of just being kind of a fun beat 'em up, then yeah, I'd recommend this. I mean, people still kind of call this one kind of a hack and slash, but I've always kind of just considered it more of a beat 'em up than anything. I mean, it has all the makings and the workings of like a beat 'em up, for instance. Like you pretty much just run around, you punch things, and on top of that, you can pick up weapons every once in a while and use them, and that's practically what most beat-em-ups typically end up doing. Now, however, for Splatterhouse 1 and 2, I would always consider those just platformers, side-scrollers. I would never really consider them beat-em-ups. But 3, though, 3 on the other hand, though, yeah. I gotta play 3 again. I haven't played that in a while. So, next area coming up, this one's a little bit rough, but if you run back here, you can find a shotgun, and that's what we're going to be using. And the little trick that I'm going to be using with it is I'm just going to be using it to get Necro, and then I'm going to use my splatter abilities / going into Berserker mode to kind of just save the ammo for the other mini-bosses that kind of show up here. Right now, I'm just trying my best to get as much for the level 3 Necro as I possibly can, and that's why I'm killing the bookworms. So that way I get that full. And for this fight, there's going to spawn, I want to say, at least a couple of Terratoids first. Maybe possibly alongside with the Abords. Yeah, these guys right here, yeah, okay. So I think the Terratoids show up after this particular fight. Or no, I think they show up now. So, yeah, okay. So what I do first is I just kind of just run up to this guy and start engaging with him first, because he's the one giving them the buff, so I'm just going to take him out. And as you can see, the enemies have gotten way tankier for some strange, odd reason. And I think that's either just the difficulty going up for the game or what have you, I don't know. Maybe bad programming, who knows? It could be a number of things. So, my intention right now was... Well, I didn't intend to leave the Terratoid alive, but... Yeah, as you can see, I pretty much just go Berserk. Once Berserk is over, I get near the shotgun as fast as I possibly can. And then I proceed to go and just use the shotgun to blow them down once again, because the shotgun does quite a lot of damage. And this guy just somehow was still alive for some reason, so, we're just gonna do what we normally do, take him out. You're gonna see, like, tons of these, by the way, throughout this entire chapter. So get used to these types of boss fights, because these mini boss fights because there's plenty of them to go around. So that's just number 1, and I think the next wave should be more Terratoids, if not maybe a beast. As I know a beast shows up, but I think he shows up like at the very end. And once again, I'm pretty much just getting as much blood as I possibly can to kind of fill up the Necro so I can get Berserk and not have to use the shotgun to get it. Don't really know why I used the shotgun here, knowing that I had it. I don't know. I guess I assumed I didn't have Necro, or I just wasn't paying attention, or I just wanted to get a shot off. I don't know. Because the shotgun does do decent damage to these guys, and I think that's kind of the thing they want you to use here, is they want you to use it, but I'm just going to use the one shot to get like a ton of Necro, because you get a lot, actually. You really do. Especially for no upgrade run, when you're pretty much relying on that 3 bars to get what you need. Yeah, that shotgun does give you back quite a lot, so it's definitely worth it. One of these doors, I think, has a weapon. I think one of them has a hatchet. I could be wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. All right, it's just bookworms. I keep wanting to say boreworms. So yeah, you know, keep running back, grab shotgun, practically get almost an instant, you know, Berserk, especially with these guys lined up. I'm not gonna worry about using Berserk. I'm just gonna use like a splatter, and then just, you know, kill them off. And then now we're gonna have to fight the last and final of these guys, the Beast. So this one, of course, is nothing special, and the only thing that makes this fight even remotely hard is the fact that there's 2 of them. And I kind of forgot that there's 2 of them, actually, to be honest with you. But they're really not that bad, because like once you start going to Berserker mode, it really just kind of just annihilates these guys. The Terratoids, though, no, not really, for some strange reason, but these guys do. These guys go down pretty well. I left the other one alive on the pretense of trying to get the splatter kill right after, so that way I can get my Necro back without having to use the shotgun, because I don't know exactly how many shotguns it takes for these things to explode. I also somehow fudged that one up. I don't even remember how. I guess I just wasn't tapping it fast enough. But whatever the case, I wanted to get that splatter kill, you know, without using the shotgun, but I ended up having to use it anyway, because like I said, I didn't know exactly how many shots this thing had left, and as you can see, it still packs a punch. I want to say base level might be 12. Maybe. I'm not keeping count, but if I had to guess, that'd be my guess. So yeah, that's the end of them. If you still have shotgun shells left and you haven't wasted all of them, and you're, you know, kind of going back and forth between Berserk, then you could just use the rest of them on the Beast. And if you happen to know how many shots it takes with a shotgun, then that's also something good to have too. That gives you an advantage to kind of just know exactly, you know, what you got left. Definitely helps. And do keep in mind, there's only 3 waves of those guys, so it's a bit irritating sometimes, because I did die quite a few times, but when you kind of just, you know, manage, when you item manage, it makes things a lot easier to kind of deal with. Now, this room is another case of relatively simplistic room to deal with. It's mostly just an Aegis. I shoot him down with the shotgun I have left. If you don't have a shotgun left, then just go Berserk. And if you don't have that, then you're gonna have to charge triangle, and you pretty much kind of have to with Aegises, because they dodge you so many damn times, it's ridiculous. Luckily, that one shotgun blast and all those Berserk shots eventually killed off all these guys, so I can just go ahead and either wait for the next pair to come up and use weapons on them, which I think there should be more coming soon. Yeah, they're there. So yeah, they all drop their weapons for me, which is nice. That's kind of why I like these guys, these butchers, because they at least allow you to gain a weapon after you kill them. Because not a lot of the enemies in this game really do that. And now it's time for the eyeballs. I don't remember if this one's random or not. I don't think so. I saw one of them was the S. It's not the cool S, but, you know, it's definitely the S. And then I just didn't want to have to go through a secondary fight, so I just used Splatter Siphon to figure out what the next one was, and there you go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's the way to do it. You know, of course, since the answer is blood, and Splatter Siphon also seems to give you that, I guess. Makes sense that it would show up. I don't know why my brain just for some reason immediately thought of Soul Eater Not for some strange reason. I have no idea why. I haven't watched that in years. I watched it when it came out, and then I just watched the first 12, and that was about it. I keep getting recommendations to watch Serial Experiments Lane. I mean, you know, my brothers told me like it probably would be up my alley, but I'm talking about like YouTube-wise, just like it just keeps recommending it to me. It's like they really want me for some reason to watch it, and it's baffling. I haven't watched anime in a bit. We were trying to watch part 6 of JoJo, but then I don't know, we just kind of got tired of watching things weekly. That's what happens to me. I just get tired of just watching things every week, or I like being forced to. But I'll get back to it eventually. I did read it, of course. I've read all the way up to like part 9, if anybody's curious. So it's not like I'm missing out on anything. It's just that, you know, I just don't like watching stuff very much. But it's funny I say that, but at the same time, I've been watching a lot of movies, and I think there's definitely a difference, you know. At least with a movie, like, it's just like an hour long, it ends. It's over with, I can kind of go do something else for the day, which that's kind of the plan right now, is I'm just going to go watch a movie after this to kind of get it out of my backlog of things I want to check out. Alright, well, yep, back here, as you can see. Of course, you get a nice little chainsaw. And I just pretty much, I remember the chainsaw being around there, so I just saved it up for pretty much these guys. I just used the other weapon to, you know, not have the breakage chance increased on my chainsaw. And I'm trying to think of what comes up next. Okay, I guess I could have used the chainsaw on them. Oh no, I guess I'll use it here. Okay. So I think for this part, yeah, I gotta go through and just essentially do that fun thing called falling down that pit or whatever. But yeah, there you go. Those guys were done with. I'd say, if anything, just splatter smash the Terratoid first, and then chainsaw the other guys, so that way you can kind of get your meter back, because not having Berserk sucks, honestly, or just not having any meter at all for, you know, Spider Siphon kind of sucks. But luckily this game's really nice when it comes to getting Necro, and weapons also give you a ton of Necro. I'm sure by now, like, if you guys are maybe playing this yourself or have played it yourself, you probably know for a fact that getting Necro from weapons, you know, you get like a ton of it just from the most basic of weapons. It's pretty crazy how that works, but yeah, I don't know, I kept this in because why not? Shit, I'm fucking tired. I woke up at a pretty decent time, but then my dumbass just stayed in bed. So I'm kind of angry at myself for being like that, for not, you know, getting up when I had the chance. I tend to do that quite often, especially when I have, like, you know, days off that I can just stay home and sleep in for a bit. And then I regret it later, because it's like, well, now I want to actually work on stuff, and you slept for like 2+ hours, you idiot. So this upcoming part, this one took me a bit to kind of do. It took me a couple of tries. Didn't take me that much, it just took me like a good couple. And the thing that I figured out is you want to attack the blue guys first, for sure. They should always be priority number 1 when it comes to any fight in particular. I think I might have said that in like previous videos, but if I hadn't, then yeah, in my opinion, these guys are absolute priority number 1, because they suck ass and they have an insta-kill, and that's not fun. Out of all the enemies, the one that just seems like it would be kind of like a small, mid-tier, you know, Goblin Homini sized enemy you wouldn't think would insta-kill you. You would think like a Terratoid or something like that. Like somebody bigger could easily do it, but they don't. Sorry about my goddamn squeaky chair. It's just, I keep moving around and the thing keeps fucking squeaking. I'm 400 pounds, so it's breaking underneath me, you know? My chair is squeaking. That's just a joke, I'm sorry. Don't know if anybody would get that reference or not, but it's out there for those that might. And yeah, after that, you know, kill off these guys, and then you kind of just start falling down this whole thing, and there you go. Which also reminds me of like Dante's Inferno when you're falling down that section too, like when you're in violence or whatever, and you got that platform that's kind of falling. Okay, well, it's not falling now, but it will eventually. Funny enough, I believe that both these games came out around the same time, so the question is, who came up with what idea first? I mean, it's not like it's necessarily an original idea from either of them. I'm just saying that since these games kind of came out close to the same era, because I believe they both came out in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Unless Dante came out in 09. I'm pretty sure it was 2010, because I'm pretty sure Bioshock was 2010. Bioshock 2. And then I didn't get this copy until 2011. And this is still my original copy, by the way. This is still the one I've held on to for so long. And the only memory I have of like going to get it was I remember being at Texas Roadhouse for some strange reason, and then just talking about wanting to, get it after we go out and eat. I was gonna go grab me a copy of this, and then I did. Never went back. So, yep. Question is, will I ever, continue to play it after this? Because I've pretty much kind of done everything I wanted to do with the game. I've already, I've beaten it normally. I've 100% the game. I've gone through all the challenges. I've done a no upgrade run. I've done a guide. I mean, the most I can say is maybe a boss rush / maybe even if I ever start doing the survival arena stuff, especially for like God of War with the challenge things. I may one day start doing videos for those. Who knows? Maybe when I run out of God of War guides, I might eventually just start going back and doing the challenges. Kind of just to knock them out of the way and give, my audience some more stuff to watch, I guess. Or, if anybody needs help with them, and that could always happen too. Not that there's, of course, not help out there already. Because, good lord, there is. You can find almost anything online when it comes to trying to figure out, specific challenges or something, or guides for specific things. It's crazy. It's crazy how the internet's taken over just everything when you think about it. Back in my day, it was all about them strategy guides, which is funny because I never really used them. I didn't really. I think I was just kind of too young to really mess with them too much. Because I used to just, like, we had a strategy guide for Crash 2. I actually own it right now. Like, I'm the one that has it right now because, history, I guess you could say, in the making. We had a strategy guide for Crash 2 of all things, and even Tomb Raider at one point. I remember that. And, at least I think I remember that. And, when I was young, when I was a young lad, I used to play Crash a lot back then on PS1, and then I just would always just suck ass at it and then just start over. Oh man, I'm kind of a bit tired. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I got done doing Conqueror Live and Reloaded. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of miss it a bit, honestly. Just a tad. I kind of miss some of the fun of it. But then the game got to a point where it really pissed me off a lot of the time, and then the final boss was relatively fine. There was just some getting to that spot that kind of made me angry. But then again, that's just how platformers work. One day I would love to make a platformer of my own, but gotta learn game design stuff, It's just how it is. So this next part, I probably should have fast forwarded this section. So I do apologize in advance that this section is going to be... It's going to be incredibly boring, but some quick tips I can give you. You need to attack the Aegis first, clearly. And what I did here was dumb, because I thought that you didn't have to fight these guys, but as soon as these guys spawn, at least the Aegis, once you see the Aegis, just go straight for it, and try to use R1 triangle plus while being in Berserk mode to potentially get more damage, but I guess this time the game says no. I could have sworn that R1 triangle in Berserk would actually kill it, but maybe it's doing that buff thing that did everybody else, so I guess you could say I lied about that one, but this is one of those sections where they pretty much kind of want you to run across as fast as you possibly can. Yeah, these platforms are timed, so it falls down one at a time. It's not they're not all gonna fall down, whenever you touch them or whatever. So take your time with this, get through these guys. And another thing I can recommend too is trying to keep them within these platforms specifically, so that way, say if the platform falls, there's a chance that they might fall with it, and that's what I'm trying to go for. But they're just being assholes and not helping me out with that. It's getting pretty damn close to letting them fall, and I'm just trying to wait it out. But fortunately enough, these guys are relatively simple, because like once the Aegis is gone, then everything's just kind of pretty straightforward. Man, I'm getting pretty damn close to dying too. Just trying to keep my distance, trying to build up that splatter siphon as best I can. Ooh, I could have easily died there. Yeah, that was like one more hit and I would have been done for. Alright, yeah, we're getting pretty damn close to these guys just falling off, and I just said screw it. Tried going for him, but that didn't work out. God damn. This takes forever to go through. Now, when you're in spotter kill, I'm not sure if time stops. I don't think it does. I don't think time stops for you at all when you're inside spotter kills. So do be careful if you're going to be using that to your advantage. At all. Just fair warning, because, you know, I'm not even sure what could happen. But yeah, sorry that took so long to do that. It would have been smarter to use Splatter Smash, take out the Aegis, and then Splatter Smash everybody. Or at the very least Berserk, and then just do smash attacks. But I had failed miserably, and I didn't really, at the time, you know, remember whether or not the door would be locked, and if you could just run through it. Because that's kind of pretty much what I was trying to do, was I was just trying to run through it as fast as I possibly can to get out of there. So, coming up next is going to be a slightly irritating section, but not too hard. It's just irritating to go through. And that is this 2.5D section where you can pretty much... It's like 3D with like a 2D camera angle here. And the whole thing is still 3D. Like, you can move, you know, between the Z-axis and stuff and all that fun crap. But, yeah, it's just gonna have like a ton of fishmen on it, what have you. And you got this pipe, and I just try to avoid majority of the enemies to get through it. I'd say, if anything, the fishmen just make it more annoying because they can stun you, and just whenever they do that flurry attack thing, you know, they can pretty much just stun you down and, you know, halt your progress and what have you, which is clearly not something I want, because I just at this point in the game, I'm like, I just want to beat this fucking thing. I don't care. I don't give a shit who's in my way. I just want to beat it. Something else too, I would recommend having a pipe slash any specific weapon, any weapon that you can find. Specifically a blunt weapon, if you happen to have ones around here, I'm not sure, but try not to, if you're doing a no upgrade run, try not to just finish off those fish guys with the pipe. Instead, keep it for this fight. So, right now, you might not see it, well, of course you can't see it, but, okay, no, change the plans, I forgot what I was doing. What I did was I was running around in the cutscene to get to these guys. Like, you can actually somewhat run around in the cutscene. You can also even berserk into cutscene. Now, do be careful, because if you're doing a splatter move, they will, even when you go to berserk, they can still hit you still hit you while you're in berserk. So do be careful of that. My pro tip for this is doing this combo right here. If you can get these two together at the same time, do this combo, but don't do like a finisher. And if you're gonna do a finisher, then at the very least, go for one that's like a triangle move. But you need to just avoid all their attacks. I know that sounds like common sense, but avoid all their attacks and use your pipe slam to just do some damage to get into berserk. So that way you can just get them in that stun combo, and that's how I beat them. So anyway, take care, everybody.